I am so pleased to be here with Minnesota's strong, thriving Tibetan community. I wish to thank the Tibetan American Foundation of Minnesota for inviting me to join you this morning. Only 1 month ago in May, I was in India as part of an official delegation led by the Democratic leader Nancy Pelosi. My colleagues and I were humbled to receive a very warm and gracious welcome by His Holiness the Dalai Lama, and I will add, a delicious lunch, Your Holiness. It was a very special visit. So today, Your Holiness, it's our honor to welcome you to Minnesota. Your presence and your blessing is an inspiration for all of us. Please accept my offer of strong support for the Tibetans in Minnesota and across the U.S., for the Tibetan community in Nepal, and all Tibetans living in exile. The refugee experience, being forced from one's homeland, fleeing violence, persecution, is a journey of loss and pain and great suffering. You never forget home, but now you have a second home, and together we must make this home in America one of safety, hope, and opportunity. I want this to be a home, Minnesota to be a home, to be welcoming to your families, a place where you have the freedom to maintain your culture, practice your beliefs, and sustain your rich traditions as Tibetans. And I know firsthand the important contribution Tibetan Americans are making here in Minnesota, and I'm grateful. Your community makes Minnesota a stronger and a better state. It was in 2015 when I was in Tibet, your homeland. I experienced the mountains, the thin air in my lungs, the warmth of the Tibetan people that I met. But there was also a very heavy burden there. The people of Tibet are not free to practice their religion. So today, let us focus our minds, our hearts, and our prayers for freedom of religion for the people of Tibet. It's long past time for China's repression for Tibetans to be able to practice their freedom of religion. It must end. Human rights abuses must stop, prisoners of conscience must be set free, and the destruction of Tibetan culture, the repression of monks and scholars also must stop. And I will share with you why I'm saying this and why I feel so passionate about it. 2 weeks ago, I received a letter from Chinese Consul General in Chicago asking me to, quote, refrain from any contact with the Dalai Lama in any form. The letter called today's gathering a platform for a separations plot. There is no plot. There's only a path of peace and a path of dialogue that His Holiness seeks and that we seek. So as a member of Congress who represents many of you and all of you here from Minnesota, I urge the Congress and the President of the United States to stand with the people of Tibet to promote human rights, religious freedom, and a meaningful dialogue. China is a powerful country, but the United States is a free and powerful country. The United States must never abandon our commitment to freedom, justice, and human rights around the world, and we must never, never abandon the people of Tibet. So let me close by telling you, when I go back to Washington, I will be working in the Congress to continue U.S. funding for all Tibetan programs, scholarships, and assistance for refugees. I will work to pass H.R. 1872, the Reciprocal Access to Tibetan Act of 2017, and I'm also going to urge President Trump to meet directly with His Holiness Dalai Lama and to listen to his wise and compassionate insights. Mr. Trump needs to hear why ongoing support from the U.S. to Tibet is vital. The teachings of His Holiness are not only wise, they are in the best interest of the United States and all of mankind. As the Dalai Lama teaches us, let us learn to love our planet better, to work to stop climate change. Let us welcome refugees who flee violence, whether they're Buddhist, Christian, or Muslim. Let us open our hearts to the poor and the vulnerable in our own communities and around the world. Minnesota, We are blessed by you being our Tibetan brothers and sisters, and today we are blessed by the teachings of His Holiness. May peace gather upon all of us as we follow this path together of love and compassion. Thank you.